We are here with Tanja Obradovic, Senior Manager of Java Programs at the Eclipse Foundation. She will explain how to join an open source community and the importance of getting involved. Please.
Thank you. So, hi everyone. I'm super excited to be here at the conference, and I'm even more excited that we had quite a few Jakarta talks here. And I will just quickly introduce myself. I am, in this context, Jakarta Program Manager, and I work for the Eclipse Foundation. And I will tell you why you should choose Jakarta as your starting point for open source contribution. So if you haven't heard about Eclipse Foundation before, I do want to let you know that it's a big open source, one of the largest, if not the largest European open source foundation. It is, as we're saying on this slide, the community for open innovation and collaboration. And what a better example of showing that is than Jakarta. So before we really go into Jakarta, let's figure out what exactly is Jakarta. It has, you will see, multiple meanings. For people who are familiar with Java and Java EE, how many people are familiar with Java EE? Okay, great. So then for you, it's easy to figure out that Jakarta is just a continuation of Java EE, and it happened due to the community request from Oracle. They really didn't like how things are being progressed within Oracle, so there was a big push from the community to contribute the technology to Eclipse to open source, and they choose the Eclipse Foundation. So it was also a community decision to rename it to Jakarta EE, and beside being a brand, Jakarta EE, it is also a set of specifications, and you can see here the set of specifications that can be looked as a whole as Jakarta EE platform. If you want to tailor it a little bit more to the web development with Java, you use Jakarta EE web profile. And then you will see in one of the recent versions that we released, there is a Jakarta EE core profile that is geared towards smaller runtimes and actually more suitable for microservices development. But it is also a single specification that we want to talk about and make sure that we understand that all of these, the sets of specifications are relying on one definition of a specification, which is the specification document, the API that is required to be requested from you to be implemented based on the specification, and then the TCK, the testing mechanism that will verify that your implementation is suitable for consumption and it works against the compatible implementation. So if you really look at it, Jakarta EE means many things. Not just the brand, not just the technology, not just the specification, but it also refers to the Jakarta EE working group, which I'll mention a little bit later. So I guess for you, the most important part is to know that it's referencing or referring rather to Jakarta EE technology. So what have we done so far? So Java EE 8 was the last version of that was released by Oracle, and since then we moved slowly into Jakarta EE 8, and then changed the branding and the licensing and made it really solid in order to start doing some other changes. The first change in the release 9 that we did is the change of the JAVAX namespace to Jakarta namespace, which was the requirement from Oracle. And then we did release the Jakarta EE 9.1. And I guess in that release, we wanted to say that we don't have a single implementation of the technology anymore, that we're welcoming any implementation to be released at the time of the specifications release, and that is the Jakarta EE 9.1. The really true innovation that was done by the community that I would like you to become part of is the Jakarta E10. And the biggest part of that release is definitely coming up with the Jakarta E core profile. We're just about to release the version 11, and among some other updates in the individual specifications, we're also coming up with a new specification with this Jakarta E data. And if you are familiar with the technology, you know how important TCKs are. So there is a huge amount of work being done on the revamping and modernizing the test compatibility kit. Now, here is how Jakarta E11 platform is going to look like. You can see that Jakarta data is in orange. That's the new one. We have updated specifications in blue, and grays are not updated at all. So the specifications are there actually for others to implement. And I do want to point out that our jakarta.ee/compatibility page contains quite a, well, not quite a few. It is quite an impressive number, but it's also listing all of the products that are implementing these specifications. And the numbers are continuously growing. This morning, I just approved 2 more products and 2 more versions of a product that are implementing Jakarta E10. So you will see also that, and this will tie back into why you should be involved. Those are the companies that are backing up Jakarta E technology. So I'm sure you will recognize quite a few names here. Not only that they're financially supporting the Jakarta E as a project, they're also supporting the project by involvement of their employees. I do want to draw your attention that Payara here is also a member, that Oracle, who contributed this technology, is also a member that is actively working on involving the technology. So finally, why would you get involved? So, well, if you really are doing any enterprise development, you know how important Java EE or used to be, and now Jakarta EE is important. And you would also know to what degree it is embedded in many different frameworks, not to just to mention one that I'm pretty sure everyone is familiar with, it's Spring, right? Spring also uses Jakarta EE. And then all the implementations that we mentioned earlier are implementing Jakarta EE. So you have all the reasons to be involved into enterprise Java. And what are the other reasons to involve? So it's a stable technology. If you're application developer and working for an organization, you will definitely come across this technology. And if you are involved into the work of and further development of Jakarta EE, you will be able to advance your career, get the experience by working with others in the community. You can get the recognition. We're always making sure that we recognize everyone who is developing. And then you will have some flexibility and impact on the technology. Flexibility, that means you can work whenever you can, from the location you can, and obviously be part of the larger community. How do you get involved? Luckily, we have everything documented on our website. First, you need to become a contributor. A little bit earlier in the talk, Ivar has mentioned this, and don't worry about all the paperwork that needs to be done. The important part is just to start, and community is going to help you out. You need to decide how do you want to do your work. Sometimes you just want to do the marketing and promotional work. Sometimes you want to do some collateral work, whether it is the presentations, whether it's white papers, content of any kind. And then finally, you can decide to do the technical work. Write an example. It doesn't have to be a specification right away. It can be a part of the compatible implementation work that you are interested. It could be part of the specification later on. Or even now we have a huge push and huge need for work on the TCKs, especially now that we're working on modernizing it. We also first and foremost want you to get connected with us, and this is where you can find all the information and connect with us. There are many programs that you can be part of. Just to draw your attention, in early December, we're going to organize an online conference. Jakarta One is the name of the conference. There is a whole Jakarta One live stream. There is a link from this page as well. And then we want your organization to be involved as well. You need to become a Eclipse Foundation member, and then you become a part of the working group, and then you can help out and push forward the cloud native Java or Jakarta EE as a technology. Here is all the members. We're currently about 30 members, and with this, I will close the presentation, and I'm looking forward to your questions if there are any.
So thank you very much, Tanya.
You're welcome.
Is there any question from the public?
Hopefully this will intrigue you to at least visit the website, jakarta.ee.
Maybe I can ask you what was the most difficult challenge in the transition from Java to Jakarta, and how you solved them? So
it's a huge difference when a project is one vendor maintained project, and when it comes into the Eclipse Foundation, where we're absolutely insisting on being vendor neutral. Mm-hmm. And the challenge was to start building all these, building the community of collaboration between those huge companies. Okay. That are not necessarily used on working together. And it took us a little bit of time. There are some legal restrictions that we need to follow and kind of overcome, especially with the move from JAVAX to Jakarta namespace. But as you can notice, in the number of releases that we produced and the number of planning, the number of people involved in planning that is involved Currently, for the future releases, we already start working on the release 12 and beyond. It is really magnificent to see community doing all this work.